Hello and welcome to another episode of Exploring Standards. I am Jess, the host, and today I'm here with Kathy Clements from Assent Risk Management. Kathy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. So, Kathy, this is the second time you've been a guest on the podcast. Our previous episode is live, and it is how ISO 14001 environmental management is changing. So you can check that episode out. But our topic today that we're looking at is ISO for small businesses. And so Kathy specializes in working with small businesses. So we thought you'd be the perfect guest to get on the podcast and have a chat today. So I'm going to jump right in with the first question. And that is, can small businesses be ISO certified, or is there a minimum or maximum size that businesses need to be?
No, absolutely. So it's always been the case that a business of any size or any industry can go for an ISO. That's always been the case. However, since the 2015 standard came out, they've particularly made it easier for everyone to be able to get an ISO certification, and 9001 in particular is a great starting point. So a lot of businesses go for that first to get them kind of used to it, as well as having, because quality tends to be the first thing people think of when it comes to improving what their customers get, right? Because every business is in some way focused on a customer, regardless of the industry. And no, there is no minimum size, because I have clients that's one person on their own, and they're doing everything. They're running the business, they're sorting out the sales, they're doing the ordering of stuff and the organizing, and oh yes, they're an ISO representative as well. So no, there's no minimum, and anyone can join in, especially if you get sort of somebody in to help take some of the weight, like a consultant who can get you through it quicker, so you're not sat there stressing about what it all means.
Yes. Yeah, well, I guess when you're a one-man band, anything you can do to ease the workload is always helpful.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So what are the benefits for small businesses to gain an ISO certification?
It's difficult to categorize them into strictly this is a benefit, this is a benefit. It's an overall thing, is what I'm saying. Okay. So what you're looking to do is improve the company as a whole by improving each part. So the first thing for me that I notice, particularly for small companies, is the efficiency. Because what we're doing by putting in an ISO system is we're saying, let's look at exactly what we do and exactly how we do it. And then we can look at, is there bits I can improve or make more efficient? So particularly for the small businesses, efficiency, wonderful. So it takes out the duplication. It means that you can make sure you are covering every aspect that you would need to cover. And of course, it's great for things like clarifying your processes. What am I doing with that? What does that mean? Oh, I see. This is, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is how we can do it. And oh, but I'm already doing that somewhere else. And then you spot things, and you can really compact it and make it quicker and easier. And that's why when it comes to having things like tenders, it's quicker because you've got everything there. So for a lot of companies, they go to tender and they have all these questions. Do you have this policy? Do you have this policy? What do you do about that? What's your process for this? Oh, here's my ISO system. Can I go straight to level 2 now?
Yeah.
And that's what we like to do. And you can see from the way I speak to you, this is how I handle it with small companies, because it is a very sort of organic, to use a buzzword at the moment, thing. It's, this is your company and this is what you do. How can we make that really, really good so that A, it saves you time, and B, it's really clear then for other companies, oh, they're taking this seriously. And having that tick mark can jump you straight through that. Oh, yes, they are taking it seriously. Look, they've got a certification. Wonderful.
Brilliant. Okay, I think that's like two things that every small business wants. That is, time management and making things more concise. Yeah. Oh, yes. And then also winning tenders. So lots of benefits for small businesses.
Yeah.
So my next question then is, how are ISOs implemented and audited differently for small businesses? So is it appropriate to their size?
Okay. No, it's not necessarily about size necessarily,
Okay.
because you can have a really huge company that has one process and that's all they do. And therefore there's less paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a small business that does 62 different things and you have to organize all of them.
Okay.
But the way it tends to work with the smaller business is there's less people involved. So you're often talking to the same person for several different processes. And you'll often find that they combine bits of those processes. So when you make your system, so let's say there are 15 documents in your ISO system. Okay, well, in a small business, 15 documents might become 10 because 5 of them might be compacted actually into 3 documents or 2 documents instead of 5.
Okay.
Because you've got that sort of crossover that people go, oh yeah, I do this, but because it's also me, I don't have to put it here on this shelf and then have someone come and check it that I've done it and then have it move. You can go, well, I do the thing and then I do the next thing. So you can combine things, including your documents. And you often find that it doesn't necessarily correlate size of company, number of processes, number of documents, not necessarily a thing. Strange as that sounds, because you'd think that would be obvious, that obviously the company's got more going on. So not necessarily.
Okay, that's very interesting. So I know we've already touched on this one slightly, but is there an ISO which you would recommend for small businesses?
I would always start with 9001 because, as I say, I mean, for me, you're not supposed to see any of them in any particular way as a consultant, but for me, it's a great starter. It's a great introduction. It's almost like a practice, because all 9001 is asking you to do is to look at what you're already doing. You're not really adding things. I mean, there's the odd thing here and there. Oh, maybe you don't have a specific non-conformance process for when things go wrong. Well, okay, fine. You're doing something or your company wouldn't still be running. So you don't necessarily have a customer feedback process. Well, okay, they're soon going to tell you if they're not happy with something. But all we've got to do is put a process in place that tells people how to deal with it. So for me, it's one of the smaller standards in particular. If you think about 14,001 environmental, it's got legal aspects. If you think about 27,001, the information security, that's also got legal aspects and it's got technical aspects, and the others tend to have bits that you can tack on if you've already done the most of it with 9001. So for me, that straight out the gate is the almost quickest and the most logical, because it is just looking at what you're doing and working with it rather than having to create loads of new stuff.
Okay, that's really interesting. What I'll do is I will pop some information in the show notes about ISO 9001 quality management. So if anyone who's interested to find out some more information, they can follow that link. I'm going to finish with one final question today, which once again, you briefly touched on, but I think we could expand a little bit more. And that is why using a consultant such as yourself or someone from Assent is beneficial for small businesses.
Of course. So, I mean, the most obvious thing is time. If you've got me coming in and you can say, here's my stuff, I've got to go do something. Okay, fine. I can sit here and I can go, that would make an excellent non-conformance process. Look at that risk assessment. We can extend that. If you're doing it yourself, you've not only got to get through the terms of the standard, which at first reading can be really just mind-blowing. You get us in, we already know the process, we already know what these terms mean, and we kind of see the shortcuts. I was actually with a client yesterday who said this to me. She handed me a document that they'd put together and she went, we really did try to do it ourselves because, we don't want to just like dump everything on you. So, okay, fine, I'll have a look at it. And straight through I went, right, great, you can combine that with that, right? If you put that sentence there, right, let's do that. And I must have halved it because I know this, and this covers that, that, and that in the standard.
Yeah.
Lovely. Excellent. And on top of that, you are asking someone to kind of be that buffer. When you get to the audit section where you've got the certification body coming in, you've got somebody there who you can say, can you run this? Can you just help the auditor through? If you need anything specific, you ask me. But otherwise, you know exactly what they're asking for. So can you handle it? And it's great, because they're great. Give me access to your documents, and an auditor can ask for something, and I can say, oh, that's this. Whereas a client is trying to think about so many other things as well, because, you know, audit days, you're not stopping the company to audit. The company is running, and often they're running at a very high capacity, and they've got to get an audit done, and they've got to try and remember everything we've done in the last however many months we've been working together. And oh, the auditors asked for this. That was yeah, I've definitely done that, but I've put that I've done since then. That's what we're there for. We go, okay, cool. My only job is to make sure people get through their audits.
Yeah. So alleviating the pressure, isn't it?
Exactly. It's exactly that. It's that having that someone you can go, oh, if you could you just do that? Wonderful, lovely. I have now got to go into a meeting. So you run that, and you can contact me if you need me. But otherwise, great, because I've got this thing that I need to do. It's wonderful, because I can just go, yeah, you know what? You do the business. Leave me with this bit. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And it's so, I mean, for me, you can hear as a consultant, that's my favorite bit, to go, don't worry, you just run, you just do your thing, and I will do this thing in the meantime. And it's that, I mean, it's important to me. I mean, I know for a lot of people, they look at perhaps the cost or something, and or the time outlay, and they say, oh no, but it's that benefit you get from it, kind of like being in physiotherapy. Oh gosh, it's expensive, but it is so nice when you can run a marathon, you know. So
yeah, definitely. I think you got to think about there's obviously a cost involved in using a consultant, but obviously it then saves time, and so you're looking at time management. So what's going to cost more, your time or getting someone else here to make it more concise for you? So I think that's what people need to think about.
And it's that outlay can actually save money in the long run, because if you go to an audit and something happens, and then you have to have and you know, they find a major, you've got to have the audit again. So you're paying for the audit again. And that can be as much as just hiring a consultant for the time, because, you know, that auditing time is of a certain price, and you can get however many days of consultancy for the same cost. So when you weigh it up that way, and certainly for me, I'm certainly a person that goes, I will hire someone who knows what they're doing, because I just can't deal with the stress. So
and often small businesses have a lot of stress, you know, as you said, with them being one-man bands, that they have a lot of things on their plate anyway. So by getting someone in to help out alleviate that pressure, you know,
absolutely
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, Kathy. I think it's been really helpful. Hopefully our listeners have enjoyed it. So today you have been listening to Exploring Standards with Assent. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to like, subscribe and review. Thank you very much.